Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Trading Table. This is Andrew. Joining me is Landon, and today we're going to be going over our weekly outlook for today so you guys know what to watch for the week and more. So looking at our heat map here for the S&P 500, right? Pretty green day. We definitely bounced back as predicted. SPY slid quite a bit. We'll be taking a look at their chart in just a second here, but we have so much green across the board. Very, very good to see the market recover like that. But this week, we are in for quite the ride. We have a bunch of notable companies reporting earnings, which we'll be going over later in the video. But looking at SPY's chart here from Friday, we can see that, we started the day off really nice and green. We gapped up in pre-market, right? So all good signs there with SPY, right? Huge bull run. But then we did have quite a notable sell-off near intraday towards going into the end of the day. We are up right now in post market, or actually we might just be at 0-0. But continuing into Monday, I kind of expect. I don't know what to expect with SPY, to be quite honest with you, because we have so many companies reporting earnings this week. It really could go anywhere, and it's just based off of the company's earnings reports. Just to name a few, I don't have the chart memorized, but I know we have Apple, Tesla, Microsoft this week, so that's going to definitely affect the market. If you're not a super risky trader and you don't like a lot of volatility, this might not be the best week to trade for you. All right. So if you're like a beginner or you just, don't really like volatility too much, definitely would advise against trading this week, just because premiums are going to be super expensive for most companies. The market's going to be super volatile, but yeah. Anyway, as we can see here with SPY, we have been pulling back, right? And we even got as low as 537.45 here on Thursday. But we definitely recovered back up to some, what I like to say, normal levels for our time. We did have a gap to fill, and SPY definitely filled that gap, as you can see. So, moving forward from here, I think we're only going to be pushing higher with the idea in mind that those earnings reports come out to, bullishly impact the market. But as of right now, it's anyone's guess where this will go. You can't really predict earnings. There's so many factors that go into it. It's literally gambling if you try to predict earnings. There's been people who have tried and they have completely failed. You can't really predict, what a company is going to release, especially because it's after the bell or before the bell, right? But following or just preceding Microsoft's earnings, right? SPY's chart is actually very closely correlating to Microsoft, right? If we throw these together real quick, we can see that, we've got some pretty good correlation here with SPY and Microsoft, right? Previously, it was Apple. As we can see here, though, Apple definitely not correlating too much with SPY's chart. Oh, sorry. Let me throw SPY up here. The correlation is definitely still there, but it's not as, close as Microsoft's is, right? Looking at NVIDIA, we were really close. We were almost like 1-to-1 with NVIDIA not too long ago. Definitely not 1-to-1 anymore, right? We're definitely mirroring Microsoft preceding their earnings here. So, that's how you know that Microsoft's earnings are going to definitely affect the market. But, if I had to take a wild guess, I'd say Microsoft would go up just because we are so undervalued right now with Microsoft, in my opinion. We're all the way at 425, right? We came down and we've been pulling back from this peak of around 469.34 that we made back in the beginning of July. So I can definitely see Microsoft coming back up. I'm not opposed to it. I honestly doubt it's going to drop lower, especially with how many advancements they've made this month this quarter in the market, right? A lot of the good things for the company. They acquired a lot of OpenAI, and I'm sure Landon will be talking more about that later. But definitely watch Microsoft. Watch these earnings reports. They're going to be super, super important. China cut rates not too long ago by 0.25%. And, ever since then, China stocks have just been sliding. It's kind of changing my stance on them. If you remember, I was super, super bullish on them. Now, I don't know, not so much, because they just keep sliding and they're not recovering really. It's like they try to recover and it just kind of points out an obvious downtrend, right? If we jump to a higher time frame here, we can see that we're still in an uptrend on the day, right? But just for like the shorter term, like By short term, I mean months, not like years, like with the day chart. Like on the hour chart, we're definitely in a downtrend, and it's definitely failing to recover in the short term and push higher. But nevertheless, I think China stocks will finish this year green. Uh, you know, on the year to date, just because China market is just still being pumped. It's the only competitor really, or only notable competitor to the U.S. U.S.'s economy, and I could definitely see China stocks moving higher, right? But yeah, jumping to Landon now for some plays to watch from Friday.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. So in terms of plays to watch, we actually did have a few big money plays come in over the weekend. But not my favorite just because of how volatile the market is right now. But you know what they say, always follow the money. So our first one being for the ticker symbol BITO. And just to reiterate the play for you guys here, as our bot did call it out in the Discord, it is a put option contract strike of 23.5, expiration of 8/2/2024, and a total premium count of 1.84 million, and a total volume of 12K. So really solid data there. I guess big money's very bearish on this stock, but there's not a lot of time on it, so this is definitely a very very short term trade, which is pretty much the most noticeable thing I can see with this, because usually we have about a month or more. Never like, what is that, like 5 days. So overall, not my favorite play, but pretty solid play. Moving on to our next big money play. It's actually for ticker symbol. Give me a second. Ticker symbol Dell, DELL, right? And this one is a put option contract, strike of 105, expiration of 9/20/2024, total premium count of 508K, and a total volume of 839. Volume is pretty low, but that's because premiums are super expensive. And believe it or not, big money is actually bearish on this, even though this does look like a pretty good buy-in. If you want, you could start to slowly enter and increase your position as we go down. But I would kind of like us to kind of hit that previous level from March 15 that Dell was at. Then from there we kind of bounce back up. Um, but this one's not my favorite just because we are pretty low, and Dell going lower would kind of I don't know. I'm bullish on the entire kind of technology sector from now and on, just because we're kind of in a finishing a downtrend. So I do maybe see Dell move down a little bit more. But moving on to our next one, we actually have for ticker symbol IWM, and IWM is actually we have a lot of data coming in for IWM, and it's saying bullish. The play for this big money play is IWM call option contract at a strike of 225, expiration of 8/30, 2024. Total premium count 1.2 million, total volume of 2K. So really solid data there, especially with that total premium count. But we have seen IWM kind of chop out, and it does look like we're about to have a breakout. So that's really good to see. Anytime we kind of get this big money play from this IWM investor, it always seems to hit for some reason. But I do like IWM to the upside. Um, but other than that, moving on from there, we actually have for TMF. And this one's actually quite interesting because we did get from TMF a EMA 1350 bullish cross. So we could see TMF in the next like 4 weeks or so kind of move upwards really nicely. Whenever we see stocks kind of have like a bullish or bearish cross on the 1350 EMA, we always have a pretty nice breakout, but it is sort of a pretty solid swing trade. I wouldn't, if you're gonna get contracts here, I would definitely have it pretty far out just to play it safe, because sometimes it takes a week, a few weeks, or even a month in a month or two. So you definitely want to play it safe on these EMA 1350 crosses. But also looking at crypto here, moving on to I guess like a fan favorite, Dogecoin. Or Doge USD. We also had an EMA 1350 bullish cross for Doge USD. So that's also something that's kind of take note. that we could have a pretty good breakout here. And then looking at Riot, um, I'm not loving Riot right now. I think I almost prefer Mara a little more. But Riot overall, we've kind of see it start a downtrend the last week or so. Looking at Mara, um, I kind of like its movement a little more. I think it kind of represents Bitcoin a little closer. But overall, kind of the same thing. I think Bitcoin is in an uptrend, as we've kind of been saying for the last week or so. Um, but I overall just crypto to the upside. And I believe Trump actually came out and said that if he were president, he would kind of make a United States national holding of Bitcoin. So that's definitely going to make the entire crypto sector kind of skyrocket upwards. But not I'm not entirely sure on the whole presidential race right now, so I don't know what's going on there. But looking at the last thing I'll say for today is for ticker symbol MSFT or Microsoft. We do have earnings coming out on Tuesday. I am pretty bullish on this stock just because, like Andrew said, we are undervalued like crazy. And OpenAI, which Microsoft actually owns 49% of OpenAI, OpenAI actually just released their own search engine, um, which is going to rival Google. And I mean, that's pretty big news considering that Google itself kind of rivals Microsoft. So that'll be really interesting to watch. And in terms of like the AI sector, Apple actually just pushed back their Apple Intelligence, and it won't be on iOS 18. So that should boost OpenAI's um, sort of like I don't know confidence in the company, which does kind of reflect towards Microsoft just because they own so much of the company. Um, but other than that, back to you, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Landon. So we're gonna take a look at our earnings report here for this week, right? Packed. Okay, there's so much here. McDonald's on Monday. All right, that's not gonna really affect the market, but something to watch, I guess. A lot of people like to hold McDonald's for the long term. Um, and then after close on Monday, boring. Before open on Tuesday, Procter and Gamble is reporting. Pfizer, just some notable, names here. We got JetBlue, probably one of my top three, probably my top three for airlines. We got SoFi also coming out. BP. I forgot to mention. There's also a lot of oil companies reporting this week, as you can see here. We got BP, Shell, Exxon, Chevron, all reporting. So for all you oil traders, if you trade the actual U.S. oil or just oil stocks, keep an eye on that, right? PayPal is reporting before open on Tuesday as well. But after close on Tuesday is where we start storming Normandy, okay? We got Microsoft after close, all right? AMD, right? And, that might not, sound too bad, right? It's okay, right? Maybe there's nothing big left in the week. Yeah, after close, we got Meta on Wednesday. So Meta, one of the bigger companies there in the S&P 500. So that's probably going to affect the market as well. So we got two things probably affecting the market now. Before open on Thursday, we got Toyota, like I said, Shell, Ferrari's also reporting. But then after close, we stormed Normandy for the second time. We've got Apple, we've got Amazon, both reporting. There's also notable stocks like Coinbase, Intel, reporting that can definitely affect market sectors. I know Amazon will be affecting market sectors. Obviously, Apple will be. Maybe even Intel. Probably not Intel as much, but Coinbase for sure as well could be affecting those crypto miners. So this week there's going to be a lot of manipulation in the market. So definitely something to pay attention to this week. Personally, probably not going to open any long-term positions this week. Definitely not swinging anything this week. Keeping everything to a strict scalp only play. And also premiums are going to be like insanely expensive and insanely overvalued because I'm going to tell you right now, the implied volatility for any contract, any options contract in the market is just going to be through the roof because we have so many notable companies reporting. It's going to bring a lot of volatility. I forgot to mention as well, though, if we take a look at the VIX real quick, we are coming down from some pretty steep highs, right, for our time frame. I don't think we've seen 19 since like April or March. So VIX is definitely pretty high. It is declining a bit. I definitely can see the VIX increasing this week. But let's go ahead and take a look at our economic calendar now because there's also some things on that. So looking at our economic calendar, on top of all of those earnings, okay, this is where it gets kind of crazy. So Tuesday, not really too important. We got JOLTS. CB consumer confidence never really affects the market that much. JOLTS sometimes does, depending on how crazy the number comes out. Wednesday, though, we've got ADP non-farm employment change, Chicago PMI. We've got crude oil inventories coming out. We got a Fed meeting. All right, or not a Fed meeting. Well, we do have a Fed meeting. We have the Fed interest rate decision, the Fed statement, and a Fed press conference. Okay, look, if you trade at 2:00, you're literally gambling your money. All right, this is gonna bring so much manipulation into the market. It's gonna be crazy. Thursday, though, we've got initial jobless claims, S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing PMI, ISM PMI, and ISM prices. These could affect the market depending on how they come out. It's not super likely, but it definitely could depending on how those numbers come out. And unemployment rate on Friday definitely will affect the market. I've seen that number kind of come in super high before once, like a long time ago, I think maybe back in March or April, and definitely the market definitely did not like it. So we do not want a high unemployment rate. Very bad for the market. But average hourly earnings doesn't really do anything either. But yeah, Wednesday, I mean, I'm not even going to be really, I'm going to be scalping only. That's definitely what I keep it to. And definitely not trading after 2. 100% not. So, just keep all this in mind. This is all super important, super, super big week for the market. We're going to see a lot of volatility come in, and just keep yourself protected and stay safe. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Trading Table. This has been Andrew Lannon. Please be sure to check out our free Discord. Link is in description for all of our plays in real time and information as soon as it hits the deck. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at market close.